The U at Texas A&M. Texas A&M licking their wounds after some of the best Twitter college football videos I've ever seen in Boone, North Carolina, with Appalachian State pulling another monster upset in college football. But this one, Texas A&M, a 5.5-point home favorite, prime time, 9 p.m. Eastern time kickoff on ESPN against the Miami Hurricanes. All right, Brett, bounce back spot for A&M, because we've talked in the preseason about all the talent on this roster, a little bit young, but still certainly talented.
Yeah, this is nothing new to Texas A&M fans, and it's probably frustrating to pull your hair out. I mean, you have some of the most talent in the country, and yet they're still under-delivering. Now, are they a team that's a year away? Sure, we've said that a few times. Maybe they really are this time. You can find this number at A&M -5, but it's severely juiced at DraftKings, so I probably wouldn't lean into that. It's not worth that extra hook. Texas A&M didn't run a single red zone play against Appalachian State.
Holy cow.
Zero plays in the red zone.
Man, that's bad.
That's extremely concerning. Now, Appalachian State's defense is suspect. That we saw them get 63 hung on them against North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, that type of improvement from one week to the next, like, come on. I mean, that's an A&M problem.
Exactly. Yeah. And App State's defense is certainly in between. They're not as good as they were Saturday, and they're not as bad as they were week one. They're somewhere in between. But yeah, you don't reach the red zone? Are you kidding? That's so bad.
They're also not a non-Power 5 conference juggernaut like we saw with Cincinnati last year, right? Like that's not maybe the caliber of team they are.
Yeah, maybe not quite that caliber, but they're pretty darn good. Yeah. Texas A&M's defense, though, that's nothing to play around with. It's still as good as advertised. They held Appalachian State to 3.7% explosive play rate. Again, an Appalachian State defense that hung 40 points in a single quarter. So they did well. You know, they kind of bottled up this good offense. So, but they only produced 4.9 yards per play themselves. I don't know. I don't know. I'm glad to see that there's not this huge overreaction to Texas A&M losing, because people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but you play that matchup 10 more times, and I don't think Appalachian State wins any of them. Their post-game win expectancy I saw from Bill Conley was only like 27%. So they controlled the game. They played very, very well, very inspired. But Texas A&M certainly isn't the team where we're like, oh, wow, they lost to Appalachian State, they're done for. I don't think that's the case. And you see it here that they're favored by 5.5 against Miami. Miami hasn't really played anybody, so it's kind of tough to judge where they're at. They're running the football very well. I know they wanted to run Tyler Van Dyke, more than last year. I'm not really sure why. He's got an explosive arm, and they have some good athletes outside. If Texas A&M can their defense can keep them bottled up like they have been, then this is going to be a low-scoring game. So if you're going to look at anything, I would look at the point total on here, maybe take it under. I don't think that it's going to be bet up, because people are going to be saying the same thing. A&M's defense is good. Their offense is not good. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes, but I'm just worried about Miami walking into Kyle Field. I would not bet Miami. Not at all.
I think I'm going to bet Miami, man. I think I'm going to do it.
Really? In Kyle Field?
Yeah, I mean, I did this last week in a similar situation in a rivalry game between Iowa State and Iowa. And all the numbers were telling us that 3.5 was too many points for Iowa State to be an underdog in a low total game. And even though that line touched 4 for a little bit, I still felt good about it. And sure enough, the Iowa offense looked like crap. There are indications here that the A&M offense has some serious issues to work out. FPI, just like the Iowa State game last week, has, I believe, Miami 5 points better than A&M on a neutral field. And we have a low total in this game of 45.5. Like, if this game is in the 60s or 70s, then yeah, more variance, much easier to cover a touchdown spread in that game. I'm going to go bet Miami at 5.5. I'm going to find that as we record this Wednesday morning. We're already seeing a couple of books move this towards 5. Bet Rivers, Unibet, DraftKings, which tells me that there is some action coming in on Miami here. I feel pretty good about that one. Are you seeing the same thing on SP Plus with the difference between these two? Again, a 2-game sample size. Miami really hasn't played anybody, but at least for what it's worth, it seems clear that the metrics are telling us Miami's the better team.
Yeah, the SP Plus is actually favoring Miami in this game, and I get why. I'm probably taking too much stock in the Kyle Field effect, but
yeah,
we saw Alabama walk in there last year and lose.
Yeah,
it's an impossible place to play.
Yeah, and we're dealing with narrative street now. Like, is A&M going to be up for this game as much as they would be an Alabama game too? Like, they're. We'll see.
I would hope so. I hope so.
Does Miami still carry that cachet? I don't know. I mean, it is a primetime game, so that helps. Guys are going to get up for it. Fans have extra time to get lubed up, in the words of Tom Brady. So, I think it's interesting. But I'm gonna be on the dog in this one. We'll see how it goes.
I like it. I'm definitely not on the Texas A&M side. I'm just hesitant to bet on Miami in this case.